morning, Ascend Youth Ministries. This is Scott here for you today. In the past couple weeks, I've been talking to you maybe about some transition, and today I want to move on to what I call foundation. And whenever I think about foundation, I always think of a house. And when I think about a house, I think about a little trench about 3 or 4 feet deep where they put cinder blocks and they level the house and they make it stronger by burying the foundation underneath the ground so that when storms come, it doesn't blow it off or you know, I don't know if you ever heard of something called, they tell you if you're in a trailer during a tornado that it's not a good place to be because it gets wiped away. Well, if your house is on the foundation, and usually it stays, or it might get wiped out, but the foundation stays. So it's very important. And today, when I think about our foundation, the scriptures in Matthew chapter 7, verse 24, and it says something like this. It says, "For those of you who hear my words and do what it says, you're like a wise builder who builds their house on the rock. For whenever the wind and waves come, it does not shake or rattle or knock it over." But it says, those of you who hear my word and don't do anything about it, you're like the foolish builder who builds his house on sand, and when the wind and the waves and the rocks come, it wipes it all away. And whenever I think of that, I'm like, man, that is crazy. How can we build a foundation? And whenever I look again at foundations, I think about what is the strongest foundations that I know. And really what those foundations are foundations on bridges. And especially like very large bridges. Whether it's the Golden Gate Bridge, which I've never been on before, or maybe it's the Bay Bridge over in Washington, D.C., or I go over the big bridge going from Tampa, St. Pete over to Sarasota. I think it's called the Skyway Bridge. But you get on these large bridges, you're going to say, what in the world holds these things up and makes them so stable? Because whenever I look down into the ocean, I don't know if that water down there is 10 feet or 50 feet or 100 feet. So you know that they have to drill down past at least the water at the minimum. But from what I understand about foundations is that they drill these shafts and they go 100, 150, 200 feet down into the ground and pour this foundation so those bridges will stay sturdy for many, many years. So whenever you go across the bridge, there's a reason why you feel nervous, because you don't know if it's going to stand or not. But they built them with the great foundation so that whenever these storms or these high winds come, that they do continue to stand. And they're there for many, many years. So in telling you about bridges and how deep the foundation is, I want to tell you what that means to you today as a student. And what that is that more than likely, the foundation that you build is the one that you build when no one else is looking. After many years of doing ministry in churches and just talking to many people about the relationship with Christ, it takes more than just showing up on a Sunday morning or to a small group or even to a youth group night in order for you to grow your relationship with Christ. Usually it's the people who have the strongest relationship is the one who works on that relationship in their own time. So what I want to encourage you today is whenever nobody's looking, whenever no one's around, I want you to work on growing your relationship with Christ by doing your devotions, saying your prayers, worshiping on your own, and doing all that stuff that we're asked to do, but is really hard to do. The biggest thing that helps you do that is discipline or accountability. So if you can get one of those two things in your life, that would be amazing. But I want to encourage you to start building a stronger foundation today. And we'll talk more about these foundations and what they look like in the next couple weeks. I just thank you. Continue to pray for you. Have a good week. I'll be talking to you soon.